All right, welcome back to Community Focus here on Channel 6 TV. We're counting down to November 8th. That's Election Day. And again, we talk about all kinds of races that are coming up, whether federal, state, or local. And our local races we're talking about today will be the Bardstown City Council. We got Councilwoman Kecia Copeland here today. And well, first of all, Kecia, is a councilwoman, councilperson, councilman? What do you want to call yourself?
Councilwoman.
Councilwoman. Okay. I just want to be politically correct here. You know, we got because the world is changing.
It is.
As I'm getting older, I'll make sure I got that new terminology. So,
well, some people prefer councilman, but I prefer councilwoman.
Okay, well, you can't call an actress anymore. They're actors. So, I mean, that's a. But, well, welcome to the show. Glad you can make it today.
Thanks for the invite.
Well, you've been out campaigning, I'm sure, going door to door, whatever it takes. So you've been through this before, so you know what it takes to. It's not easy running for office, is it?
It is not, and it seems like it gets harder and harder.
Well, you've been on the council a couple of years now, so good, bad, ugly. I mean, you've seen it all. So, obviously, you see something that you can do, because you're coming back. So what makes you want to run for re-election? Basically,
to finish what wasn't done in the first 2 years. The first 2 years go really fast.
Yeah.
It's like a blur. But I truly believe I have footing now. I really leaned on mentors and just educating myself within the system, reaching out across the state to gain the education that was needed to help me make those decisions. I really believe in training. I believe in education. And I believe in keeping the public informed on all decisions that are made, making sure that nothing is done behind closed doors. Because actually, I think I stated this last night, the public owes us nothing. We owe them everything. And it is important to know that they vote for us. So we're responsible to them. And so I always try to keep that in the forefront. But overall, I truly love this community. When I came back home, I just knew that I wanted to be involved and also look at the vision for the future for my kids. Most of the people that are running, their kids are already here. Well, I'm thinking about getting my kids here. And when you spend, over $40,000 on an education, you got to make sure that they have something to come home to or a place to come home to. So I have a vision for this community amongst the rest of the candidates. And I'm sure that we all can come together and meet that common goal. But kids are important.
Well, a couple of years ago, you went into this sort of, wide-eyed and with ideas of what you want to do to change the city and what you want, your vision. Now you're more seasoned now. You've trained in different areas. You've been to some training. Are you a different person now than you were 2 years ago, or just a better person than you were 2 years ago?
I would say a better person, more accountable to the public. I remember stating that I wanted to be the people's counsel. I wanted to be the person that they saw on the street, that they could just walk up to, say hello, and blurt it out. Call me, text me, email me, and that has absolutely happened. And when they ask me, hey, can you find out this question, this answer for me? Can you do this for me? What have you? I feel responsible to do that. And I think for the most part, I have done that. I have asked the questions that no one else wanted to even touch.
Do you think the female part of it makes a difference? I mean, I'll give you an example. Last night you mentioned that a couple others touched on it, but you mentioned that one of the biggest issues with you is having something for kids. Is that a motherly instinct, or is that something that basically you just feel deep down is important?
Deep down important. We have to invest in kids. A lot of people say, well, kids are our future. Well, it's easy to say kids are your future. What's the action that you take to make sure that they are your future? So the first thing is you have to invest in your kids. And I don't see that here. There are a lot of opportunities that have not been met yet. And the first thing would be have a mock city council for kids, for teenagers, where they actively get involved with city government. So we have to mentor kids for this. Because what we see, there's a trend of where people are going into politics later We don't want that. We want you to get in early.
Yeah.
There's nothing against you being 25 or 30 and being in politics. And we want that because they're bright-eyed, they have a vision, and they have the energy.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want to break up that type of good old boy mentality and make sure that we have a fresh push. And that push will take us to the future. That will give us our vision. And I think that's important. The Kentucky League of Cities has a very valuable program that they just installed maybe just this year. And it's city government in the school. It's in the elementary schools. So I'll be introducing that to a couple of the teachers. It has lesson plans. It has all the materials that they need. They can do visits to city government. It's just an awesome program, and I'm so thankful that the Kentucky League of Cities is bringing that back. It's
Well,
wonderful.
everybody that comes to the city council comes with a different background, different vision, different opinions and ideas. And I know some people have said that the city council this year has been somewhat dysfunctional. You disagree with that? You think you've actually done some things that been productive? I mean, obviously there have been some disagreements, but everybody's not going to agree on everything, are they?
That's true, but it's also how you disagree on things. If you're respectful, professional, I truly believe you can get the work of the city done. That's what we're supposed to do. Get the work of the city done because we're responsible to the constituents. However, when you openly disagree and show a lack of professionalism, then of course everyone thinks you're dysfunctional, and then it takes away for what you've really done in the city this year.
So you feel like you have done some things, some good
We
things.
did
that
some things.
that maybe people are overlooking.
Well, you can overlook that because of
Yeah.
the attitudes and egos.
The extracurricular activities.
Yes, and so you can kind of, it kind of shadows everything that you've done. It clouds everything, and I'm just hoping, if people give me another chance, that I'm on there. I have a council that's functional, that's willing to work, that's positive, that wants to educate and train and let everyone know what's going on with their city government. It's that important.
I know the word transparency keeps coming up all the time, and I know that's something that you advocate quite a bit. So how can the city council be more transparent, or is that something that's really coming out of the mayor's office?
It starts with the mayor. It starts with the mayor. And I truly believe that the next council that comes in, you will not have meetings that are done outside of the city council meeting. So if you come to a city council meeting, everyone should have the same information. Not one person should have different information from a separate meeting. For example, some of the council didn't know that an email was sent to fiscal court. When you get a phone call stating, Ms. Copeland, did you know about the email? Well, no, this is on a Saturday. And I'm like, no, I didn't know, so it really bothers you because there's a lack of trust. You have a vote and then that email goes to fiscal court saying, please change it, disregard them. They don't know what they're talking about. That hurts.
Is this trust repairable, or is it something basically you're going to have to suffer through for another couple of years, or how do you feel like what's going to happen with a new council even?
With a new council, I believe you start over.
Yeah.
You have to just say, hey, this happened, and move on. And that's done in the military. There's a lot of things that we may have not agreed on, but you did it, and you moved on. So that is something that I truly believe that you're going to have to build on. You build your trust.
So let's go to you touched on just a second ago, your background a little bit. You were former military. So is the military a big part of who you are?
It is, because the military, of course, it drives. It gives you that drive. You're committed, you're dedicated, you're responsible, you're accountable. But also I have a softer side, and that comes through at the city council meeting all the time because I truly fight for the people. I want what's best for them, whether it's theater, Stephen Foster Drama, whether it's an organization of the city, because we are the city and we should support organizations in our town. It's just about communication and making sure that we're doing the right thing.
Are you providing a voice you think some others are not providing to some degree, being who you are. I mean, you've got different passions. I mean, you work with the domestic violence programs, you've worked with the military, you come from a background that maybe others don't have. I mean, so is that to your advantage, or does that make you have to fight a little bit harder?
I believe just as a woman, we always have to fight. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's always been. With Hillary Clinton running, and if she wins, that glass ceiling will be shattered, but it will be even harder for us to attain things because of that happening. So I just do what I'm supposed to do, and I think of others. I love people, and I want the right for people. Mm-hmm. I feel that you should represent all people, not a certain sector, not a socioeconomic status area, all people, whether you live in a 5-bedroom house or a 1-bedroom apartment. Yeah. Their vote was their voice, and you have to represent them. A lot of people get in office and forget who voted for them, how they got there. And when you forget how you got there, you may not be there any longer. And you have to be about action. You can't just slide through. You know, we did the investigation. You know, we tried to present an investigation. Mm-hmm. We didn't do the investigation, and not even a week later, Tom Roby was fired. Mm-hmm. What a slap in the face. So I just think that we really have to think about the decisions. You know, we think about our mayor being here. You know, we think about McKenzie being here, and we think about how they got here. Yeah. So it's important because decisions affect you from 20 years past. So anytime we make a decision, we have to be conscious of how that decision is going to affect the city for years to come. Not today, but years to come.
So what issues are really on your mind right now? I know you talked about kids, but is there any burning issues that you really want to get in there and go to work for right today?
Well, the burning issue is the kids. Mm-hmm. We have a recreation department that is really old. And praise to Donna, just retired, but she worked on a budget that many could not have worked on. Mm-hmm. But clearly, like I said, we have kids and parents that work all day, have to pack their kids and go to Lebanon or Elizabethtown. We have a community that has resources. Uh-huh. That are able to do things, and we need that here. How are we going to pay for it? Well, there's plenty of programs that we could look at. Private donations, loans. Mm-hmm. We could look at the LIFT program. There are a lot of things that we can do to make sure that happens. We owe it to the people to make sure that they have it and that they don't even feel like tourists. One instance is I was at Mammy's eating, and a tourist family was in there, and I was sitting next to them, and they didn't know who I was, of course. Yeah. And they were talking loud, and I was like, "Hey, you know, how you doing?" Because the kids kept looking at me, you know, and so we were talking and everything, and they were from out of town, out of state. And so the husband says, "Well, what do you want to do now?" And so the wife immediately said, "Well, there's plenty for us to do, but there's nothing for the kids to do." Mm. That my heart just sank. Yeah. Because I can relate to that. I now have my 8-year-old grandson. There's not a lot for him to do unless you put him in sports. Yeah. Or you pay for private lessons on the violin, the piano, things of that nature. So we have to be about creating for our kids. We say that crime is up. Well, let's find things for the kids to do. Let's have some facilities for them to go to. Mm.
Well, the reserve, I know people talk about the budget reserves, fluctuates up and down. Are we in pretty good shape, you think, going into the future now? We've made some adjustments here in the last 6 months.
The tax increase that was applied will, I truly don't believe that they will need any other revenue stream for what occurred. So I do believe that they're going to be fine. Now, yes, you need to go back through the budget. Mm-hmm. You know, we have a lot of departments that do not make money, but we keep spending money on them. And we need to look at that. Yeah. Whether it's buying new police cars. Well, you want 4. Well, maybe you only need to get 2 and be very conservative about how we use them. One thing is this, I'd like to look at the take-home policy. I just did an open records request for that. We need to look at how we're doing the vehicles and how we can maintain the longevity of them. And if it's letting them take them home and use them all day long, that's fine and grand and dandy. But when your department is under the scope, then we got to find ways to fine-tune things. And it might be because taking a car home, taking a police car home, doesn't mean that your homeowner's insurance is going to get any deduction on that. So what we might want to need to do is have those police cars parked at the police station. I would hate to do that, but we have to find a way to be as lean as we possibly can be. There's plenty of departments that need to go through that. But, the ones that lacking, we have the electricity, the utilities, and they're always pushed back. But they're the ones that are actually servicing you 24/7. If something goes down, they're right there. And so we need to take care of them too. The garbage department, great milestones have been created and done with them. But we have to make sure that we're looking at all departments and start at the top and keep going down.
Well, you've had a rocky 2 first years. I mean, you looking forward to a couple of smoother years ahead?
I'm looking forward to, yes, a positive council, and one that is cohesive, one that is willing to work with one another and build one another up and stand together. That's the bottom line right there. You have to stand together. You can't let personal get involved with the job that you need to do. Even if you don't like someone, you still have to work with them and respect them in the same manner.
We've been in the public eye for several years now doing a lot of different things. Is there anything you need to let our voters know before November 8th that you would really like to impress upon them before they go to the voting booth?
Well, I would just like to take this time to tell everyone, please vote. It is so important that you vote. It is also on the voter to be very responsible and accountable for how you vote. And think about the people that are for you, that have been for you, that work for you. But I want you to think about the people that when you vote, that they're for all people, that they represent everyone, and that there'll be that voice, that even if you bring an issue to them, that it's not trivial, it's not minute, and that they will voice that for you, because that's what we're here for. Other than the budget, the public sees us as a way to help them. We're helpers, and that's the way we should be looked at. So I just ask the constituents out there to please support me in my quest for a candidacy on November 8th. And I am number 10, so I would hope that you look down the ballot.
I'm just stop at the top, right?
Go down the ballot, number 10. And I look forward, I'm doing a Facebook challenge. So when you go to the voting polls, I've told everyone, call your mother, brother, father, sister, best friend, husband, whatever. Call them and tell them, hey, we're going to the polls. If you have to meet at Mammy's, Pat Place, what have you, have a morning breakfast, an early lunch, get the people together. If people need rides, take them to the polls. It's that important. I want Nelson County, but I want Bardstown to knock it out of the park. Yeah. I want us to be more than 13 or 14 or 15% in voting. I mean, we should really come out in a big number and vote.
Well, I see a little bit of passion in you there, Kecia. So obviously, I do agree. We got to get out the vote, and I do encourage everybody to do that. Well, Kecia, I do appreciate you being in here today and stopping by. I know you're busy, and so it's good you can stop by and talk to us and let us know what's going on in your campaign. And we wish you all the best come the 8th of November.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Kecia Copeland running for City Council here in Bardstown. 8th of November, Tuesday, November the 8th. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. We hope to see you there. We'll be back with more Community Focus on Channel 6 right after this.